Hey, hi there. It's me, Anthony Brown, aka the Ghetto Practitioner, and we're here on our show, Cares Everywhere. Man, I'm super excited. It doesn't take much for me to get excited, man. Just go ahead and toss me a guest and a host and a bottle of Gatorade, and voila, life is groovy. Man, I'm going to bring a guest in tonight, folks. For those who know me and who's been following me, right now I'm in Mansfield, Ohio, doing Brown Manor and all these other things. And I happen to run into some very interesting people. One of which I'm going to bring to you today, and we're going to talk about some experience, strength, and hope. Maybe dabble into baseball a little bit because he's a pro and I am not. Without further ado, let me introduce you to my guest, Tom Klein. Say hi to everybody, Tom.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure
Oh,
to be here, Anthony.
all right. Good seeing you too. Again, Tom is a good friend of mine. He's far beyond being an associate and an acquaintance. He's actually in the friend zone. And man, we're just going to sit here and chop it up and talk about whatever comes to mind because here on Cares Everywhere, we just bring care wherever we can and we find care everywhere. And so, Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's going on? Who's Tom Klein, first of all?
Hmm. Well, I guess a couple stats. I'm 66 now. Amazed that I made it this far. Um, Grew up in Mansfield, Ohio. Uh, I consider it was a good childhood. I found a good job in a union shop and was able to hang around long enough to get a pension. And um, since nothing's off limits here, big life change about 20 years ago, getting sober. And um, that's where I found out who I am, really. Before I had no direction or anything. Um, yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah, we might as well just jump knee deep into this lunchbox and pull out whatever sandwiches that seems edible. Um,
Yeah.
you said something about being sober 20. How long you been sober?
20 years.
20 years. It's really interesting because everybody here on my show knows that I'm in sobriety. I've been around 27 years, and there's no shame in my game.
Right.
You know. And you said you've been sober 20 years. Tell me, Tom, why did you even get sober?
Quite literally, I was about to die in this very room I'm sitting in right now. Um, I was a total mess, psychotic. The final brick on the pile was I was about to lose that pension, right? My back was completely against the wall. And it literally just in a desperation way, what do you got to lose? Give it a try because life sucks.
Okay, okay. And it's really fascinating because a lot of times they always say there's an old joke around the rooms. We say an alcoholic is like a tea bag. They don't do nothing unless they're in hot water. You know,
Yes.
and and it's fascinating. You said here you are, your back is against the wall, you're almost dying, and then what made you pick? I mean, how did you know that there was um help, or how did you know?
Um, my job also had a very nice EAP program. I was
Okay,
offered help several times over the years, and I said brilliant things, like looking them right in the eye, and this is an exact quote: "We don't go to psychiatrists in my family."
okay.
Right? Coming from a background, you tough it out, you figure it out yourself,
Mhm.
and that attitude almost killed me.
Okay, okay, and I understand that, tough it out. I come from one of those, backgrounds, like, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps.
Mhm.
It's like, "But I don't have any boots." It's like, "Well, then do it barefooted." You know? Get a bread wrapper, or twisty, and put it around your toes, do something,
Yes.
you know? And
Yeah.
so, here it is, you're working at a good job, you got an EAP, you're sitting there dying, and you said, "Hey, ain't no psychiatrist gonna fix me," and then what happened?
Well, it's crazy to say today. I make a point of saying that the job was the last brick because when I used to talk early years telling my story, I thought it made it sound like that was more important than my family and everything.
Mhm.
But that was just the last brick on a huge pile. And some kind of crazy pride thing like, if I lose this job,
Mm.
everybody's going to know I got a problem. Right?
Oh,
How crazy
oh.
is that with all the other shit going on?
Mhm.
Um, Hope shit's okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
um, but it's like, there, I just, like, there was no way I was gonna be able to justify. I thought I would give away this good job, with a pension and insurance because I wanted to see what delivering pizzas was like. That's
Okay.
exactly what I thought. Nobody's gonna believe that BS.
Right, right, right. Oh, yeah, give up a good job, pension, worked all these years, and hey, next thing you know, I'm ringing your doorbell.
Yeah. Even
Okay.
funnier is I probably couldn't have got hired as a pizza driver at that point either, so
Yeah, we literally pretty much they always say that, coming into this community, it's like the last house on the block,
mhm.
and, we're desperate and we're dying. You went to EAP. Was it was it embarrassing to have to surrender and go, "Hey, I need help"?
By the time it actually happened, and, I know you're familiar with the terminology, the what happened part, my desperation finally met the help, and when I actually stepped in there, I didn't even make it into the office where I just started crying and said, "I'll do anything," having
Mm,
no clue what that meant, but
mhm.
I feel like I did the first little 1 and 2 right there in that hallway, you know,
Okay, okay. And I like that
spiritually.
spiritually, and
Yeah.
we're gonna definitely go there, but I like it when you said the desperation met the help.
Yep.
you know and it's really fascinating because sometimes I know for me I got to the point where it's like, you know what, God, I am tired. you
Mhm.
know I don't know what to do, but I'm tired. And I was so desperate, and then a police officer who always arrested me said, "Hey, don't you think you
Mhm.
should do something different?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, yeah, okay." And so you went, you got some help, and did you have to go to treatment, or did you just stepped into the rooms, or
I was through the again, through the union, I went to treatment, and it was wonderful for me. Am I say names or anything?
yeah, you can if you want to.
Yeah, it was, Glen Bay up in Niles, Ohio.
Okay.
Um, our plant had an agreement with them through the insurance plan or whatever, and, driving up, I'm like, "Man, hopefully nobody I know's here right now." I got out of the van, there was, like, 6 guys I work with, like, just standing there waiting to welcome me there. It's like, "Okay, so much for that." Anyway, um, it was a great experience for me. Was fed, I was safe, took a number of days to come out of the fog, of course. I don't mean to ramble too on, but I think I've told you this story before. My original plan was to behave myself till I retired in those very like, the first 5 days or so. Never mind the fact that I couldn't behave for a day straight. Um, and then I would have my pension in my pocket, and nobody could tell me what to do.
That's
That's
right.
what I thought.
Okay.
Then I read a certain story in our book about a man who retired and was dead in 4 years, and it just smacked me between the eyes that I was sitting on that bed in my jammies planning a drunk 8 years in advance.
Hmm.
That was the first eye opener once I got there.
Huh. Okay. And so you're in treatment. You ran into some people. It started getting comfortable. You thought that, hey, maybe I can do this. And
Mhm.
okay. And so, what do you think was the first thing that you heard as far as your pathway into sobriety? What do you think made you say, you know what, that's kind of interesting. I want some of that.
I still, of course, don't barely know anything about what it actually is, but one day, a young man it was his first day in our group, and he was big enough to whoop us all, and he
Okay.
was very angry. And in group, the counselor asked him if he regretted anything, and very vehemently told us that he regretted taking a seat from somebody that wanted it. He was never gonna stop.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then lunchtime, we would get together without the counselor. And but whatever happened, I don't know. I don't need to know. Between that and lunch, he was crying and begging for help. Something
Hmm.
happened. And I said, I want that. That was the spark, another spark was
Okay, okay.
the
So you
willingness.
seen some vulnerability, you seen somebody get real, and it's
Yes,
like, I want to get real. I want to have some of that. Okay,
exactly.
okay. And so when they first came with that blue book, and they said, okay, this is going to help save your life. What did you think about that whole thing?
they handed me one right off. Like,
Okay.
literally, I've signed the last paper. Here you go, you know? And today, that's probably the best thing they did long term. Um, again, I had those couple sparks and the brain's clearing just a little bit, there was a gentleman that worked there, did a big, blue book study Tuesday and Thursday nights, and he was as passionate about it as you see me now,
Mm.
and that
And
made
I
a
do
big
see you
impression.
passionate about it, that's for sure.
That made a big impression, that guy, and, many others. There was a guy that drove 45 minutes each way by himself for 4 years to bring another meeting in there, like on Saturday
Okay.
night. It's like these people mean business, you know?
Mhm. Okay, and so now the formation of the fellowship is starting to happen,
Yes.
and you're cracking open that book that's written in some antique language, and, people are sitting around it. When I came in, the room was full of smoke, people used to smoke
Mm,
all the time,
yep. I
and,
caught the tail end of that, yeah.
yeah, and I'd come in, and when I went to my first meeting, it was at an indigent men's detox, and they were shaking and baking. There was no medical detox and none of that stuff. And guys, they wasn't very nice to me, Tom. You
Mhm.
know, but then again, I thought I was like, Joe, I'm gonna whoop your ass, all that. And they just told me to sit down and shut that f up, you know. And I knew they meant business.
Yes.
And they would tell me stuff like, if you want to stay sober, we got you. But if you want to continue to drink, you just go do it by yourself.
Mhm.
And I had a choice because I was desperate, you know, and I stuck around long enough. And so when you get a sponsor right out the gate, or how did that come about?
Um I say the best thing I ever did was I walked in a meeting 3 hours after I got home from treatment.
Okay.
Didn't let my mind mess with me too much. They was told, among many things, to pray on who it should be. So I started watching and listening, and, I had a list of about 3 or 4 men, and maybe 6 weeks in, something like that. And then I was sitting in a meeting, and then again, a voice spoke loud and clear, "It's gotta be this guy." And I got to tease him over the years a few times, like, "You weren't even on the short list, dude." You know? But but yeah, it was just a loud and clear voice, which I've come to trust, and, yeah.
Okay. And so did you ask him to be your sponsor, or did he say, "Hey, you look like you need some help. Let me take you under my wing"?
This will be a hint of his, how he operated. I think
Mm.
you've met him, but he passed away not a whole long time ago. "I need a sponsor." "Good, get one."
Okay.
He wasn't gonna budge until I asked,
Mm,
not
okay.
declared. That's just how he operated, and I'm grateful.
Okay. And so, at this point, if you were to give any advice to anybody that's looking at this podcast right now, that's in that position, fresh out of treatment, got your to-do list, you know,
Mhm.
you're in the meeting, and everybody's saying, we suggest, because the program's all about suggestion,
Yes.
we suggest you get a sponsor. Now, how would the individual watching this, or what direction would you tell them how best to do that?
Well, it's, always said, "Find somebody you can relate with," and
Okay.
I've come to not 100% agree with that anymore.
Okay.
Find somebody that's sober and has a good life. I don't give a if you like them, but I
Well,
wouldn't say it that way, Anthony, you know that.
yeah,
Um,
but I would, but go ahead.
yeah, well, maybe I'll start because I do share one piece of advice with new people. It's your life. Don't be afraid to ask him or her, have they worked the steps? And if they get
Okay.
mad, that's probably not the person.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's vital because you can't transmit something you haven't got,
Yeah.
you know? Okay. And so for all of you newcomers, or newly introduced, or just getting the experience, when you go to a meeting, listen to what a person is sharing,
Mhm.
and then just ask them a question like your life depends on it. Have you worked the steps? You
Yes,
know? And
absolutely.
just like Tom just, you know, shared, if a person gets upset, then maybe that's not the one that you want,
Mhm.
you know? 'cause it's vital when you're brand new that you get proper directions.
Yes.
'Cause I have seen throughout my time all kinds of things happen in the rooms, you
Mhm.
know, and people will come in and say, "Okay, yeah, you got a big ring on your finger, you look good, you drive a fancy car, your significant other is attractive. I want some of that. What
Yeah.
step are you on?" "Oh, I haven't worked the steps yet." "Oh, okay." And,
Mhm.
which leads me to this next question. How important in working a program are the steps to you?
In a certain way, all of it. Um,
Okay,
um, Without those, I don't have a higher power, which is now the basis of everything, but the steps is how I got there. Um, yeah. Again, this slogans, but if you want what we have, do what we did. And the
okay,
person
okay,
who I had what I wanted and still today, um, they did it. They and still do it. And at some point, it switches over from put the steps in your life every day to incorporate the principles every day,
okay.
right? And it's like, it's very easy to know tonight when I go to bed whether I was honest. Did I help anybody? Do I have anything to make corrections for? It doesn't, it's not a perfect fit anymore to say, did I do step 4 today? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like then the 12 steps because I do believe the steps are vital,
Mhm,
okay? For me, the steps allow me to let go of a lot of stuff, discover why I was hanging on to it, and then realize the benefits of me actually letting it go.
mhm.
And all of that allows me to get closer to my higher power who I choose to call God.
Absolutely, me too.
And that relationship is so individualized and unique. It's just something I wish everybody could experience.
Yeah.
But by working the steps, you get that. And so let's talk about the steps a little bit, because again, for those who are familiar with them, there's 12 of them.
Mhm,
Okay. For those who are not familiar with them, there's 12 of them. Okay. And it's really fascinating as you go from admitting that you're powerless all the way up to the point where you're practicing the principles in all your affairs, you know. And again, there's 12 of them, not 3 or 6 or 9. There's 12, you
yes,
know, because I've seen people come in and say, "Okay, I'm powerless. Let me go make amends. Everything's gonna be great," and things don't work out right. And
yes.
and that's why I think it's important to have a sponsor guide you through those. And so, speaking of the steps in the book and the fellowship, isn't there like a triangle or something that goes on in there? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yes, but if you don't mind, I wanna backtrack for about 5 seconds.
Oh, go ahead.
Along with listening who's attracting you, a sponsor, what they talk about in a meeting, the absolute best advice I ever got other than step sponsor, the come early, stay late. You might love what
Oh,
that guy said, but before or after the meeting, he's over there bad mouthing people. That's a big red flag,
okay.
and you'll also meet the people you do jive with early. A lot, as you know, a lot of recovery happens around the coffee pot. So I wanted to not forget that. Um, yes, recovery, service. My mind's gone, but that's crazy.
And unity.
Unity, yes. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm getting excited. I get excited about this stuff. My
I know, and
gosh.
that's why I'm glad that you graced me with your presence, because a lot of people don't understand how exciting this process can be.
Mhm.
I mean, I am I'm Mr. Bubbles. Okay,
Yes.
I mean, I take
Yes.
life serious, but I enjoy life as I take it serious. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's not like it's a challenge or anything. It's just an opportunity to experience something that I've been blessed to have. And I learned that by working these steps and the principles and the service unity and what's that other one? Service unity and re-
Recovery.
recoveries. Yeah.
Yes.
And all of that and the steps. And so one of the things you said and I thought was like really important. A lot of people may not understand it, but I want to highlight that a little bit. Come early and stay late.
Mhm.
Okay. They always say it's the meeting before the meeting and the meeting after the meeting. And a lot of stuff goes on. And yes, folks, you're going to hear it from me. there is a coffee pot. Okay, just me. Okay, and so a lot of people, there's a lot of relationships and friendships and all kinds of things that happen before the meeting,
Yes.
and then when the meeting happens, it's kind of serious business. Now I'm gonna have to tell you, I
It's all
have
right.
been to a meeting with this young man here, folks, and they were squeezing a rubber chicken. I'm
Yes.
just saying. Okay.
Yes.
Something like that one back there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because we have fun. And it's really interesting how we come in desperate and dying, and next thing you know, we're happy, joyous, and free. And a
Mhm.
lot of that happens in the meeting before the meetings, and as well as the meeting after the meeting. And so, okay, so working the steps, and again, I know you. Um, you have this aura, and yeah, it's an aura of and comfort. You're probably one of the most calmest persons I know. Okay, what's the secret to that?
Hmm. It might be winding, but I'll go here first. One of the biggest things that brought me hope in the early days was an old timer look me dead in the eye and say, "It just keeps getting better."
Okay.
After all this time, how I understand that, what they meant now is just becoming so much more proficient with going with the flow.
Hmm.
I told somebody just yesterday, and again, I hope I don't jinx myself. I honestly can't remember the last time I got all worked up about something.
Mhm.
Irritated, angry for a short bit, yes, of course. But like, oh my God, the world's falling apart or whatever. It's I can't remember, and I consider that a blessing. Um, Another important word in step 12 is practice. Practice these things. It's exactly what it means. Um, I have a higher power. Again, that first sponsor, it's when the subject came up 2 or 3 times, it bang head here. When I'm still trying to control an outcome or something. I, a chunk of it is I learned from some damn good people. A lot of them over the years. Um, we earn it. We earn it. There's a paragraph in there that says, "I wish I had what that man has."
Mm,
Talking about spiritual calmness and things.
mm,
And after many readings, I realized that those people are the ones I want what they have, but they earned that. They just didn't walk in here and get all calm. They've been through death of loved ones. They've been through everything, and they kept coming back and kept helping people.
mm.
They have earned that serenity.
Yeah.
And another big thing I learned was amazing to me at the time. In the early days, I would get some serenity for 20 minutes, and then I'd start thinking about myself or tomorrow or whatever. But at
Okay.
some point, I learned that I now have the tools to protect that and cultivate that. And all I can say is I take it very serious so I can be goofy Tom and just
Ah,
I can one of the best things is I can be the same person in any room today. It's huge.
nice. Nice. And I know, in the reading, it says, we have a daily reprieve contingent upon the maintenance of our spiritual condition.
Mhm.
Now, that sentence means a lot to me. What does that sentence mean to you?
Take actions. I think of a huge proportion of us do it very first thing in the morning to secure the connection, maybe say,
Okay.
and then again the principles. It sounds jokey, but I can't talk to you for an hour and a half and then go outside and kick the dog. You got to live it. You got to live it. But it's so cool because it didn't take a whole long time to realize this is the way I should have been living the whole time.
Mm,
You know, I knew that up here, but I couldn't. The book says we know these things, but we can't bring them to fruition because we have no idea that we're obsessed about that drink, right? I'll have a
mm.
drink, then I'll figure it out. Then I'll go be nice and whatever. But or do get something done. But gosh, I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, okay. That does make sense, which is, like, totally cool, and because I know for me, and I've been doing this for 27 years in a row.
Mhm.
When I get up in the morning, I hit my knees before I hit my feet, and I want even though I believe, this is my belief, I know God is always there, but
Yes.
I want God in my odd way to know that I know He's there.
I like it.
And so I pray in the morning and I pray at night and I go throughout the day, you know, trying to practice the principles. And the good thing about the 12 steps is, and my sponsor taught me this early on, and I tell my sponsees too, every time we have a conversation, he always ends with, "What step were you on?" You know?
Yeah.
And I think about that, you know, because it keeps me in line on catching myself because I'm not perfect and neither is the world, so that means a whole lot of imperfect decisions are probably gonna be made.
Yeah.
But I don't have to live in the negative aftermath. Everything becomes more of a learning experience for me,
Mhm.
and I've learned that from the program. Okay, and so now you're sober, you've been sober for 20 years, and you're living a completely different life. You're retired, I take it?
In the
Okay.
real world, I say it.
In the real world, you're retired, and that comes with some perks, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and one thing I noticed about you, and I'm gonna go into an area that I am unfamiliar, but I'm not afraid to step into the unknown. You like baseball.
I love it.
You love baseball, okay. Now, we're probably gonna get a few of my listeners tad bit upset, but that's okay, but who's your favorite team?
Guardians, yeah.
The Guardians, okay,
Mhm.
and you love baseball. How much do you love baseball, Tom?
Uh, my first thought, like in the spiritual sense, some people go hiking, some people go fishing. Believe it or not, the ballpark is my zen place, even with thousands of people yelling. Like the world just goes away for 3 hours. Um, I still and when I walk through that gate and see that grass, for 4 or 5 seconds, I'm 12 years old again, and it's
Ah,
wonderful. It's wonderful. Um,
okay.
just I've always loved everything about it. The now I guess I understand a little bit better. Yes, you never know what's gonna happen in a game, but you know the pitcher's gonna get 8 pitches to warm up. You know there's 3 outs. Um, you just know so much without having to think about it. The rituals, I guess you'd say, the traditions. I love the great baseball stories. Um, yeah, for as far back as I can remember, me and the neighborhood kids, we had a period where we would go in the backyard and act crazy talking about old time baseball, right? Ty Cobb, Pie Trainer, all these people, right? And we would have the thinnest, like winter glove on and just hit screaming line drives with each other. That's how they used to do it, right? That's funny. Anyway, um, yeah, it's one of my absolute favorite places on earth. I've become a minor league guy the last 10 or 12 years.
Okay.
Um, supports my lifestyle a lot better. And I say I'm a season ticket holder with the Rubber Ducks. I can have fun at a Rubber Ducks game for what it costs to park at a Guardians game. And I ain't afraid to say it. And I've seen every player on the roster now come up through, except for maybe somebody they traded. So
Okay. And again, like I said, I'm stepping into territory that's unknown to me. What's a rubber duck?
that is the Double A Guardians.
Okay.
It's been a number of years ago now, but they used to be the Arrows, as in aerospace, AEROS, and they had a contest to rebrand the team, and that's the name that won. It's real common in minor leagues. Rebrand, um, new merchandise is one. Um, say things have been not so good for a while, get people excited again. And there were
Oh.
some very creative names out there.
Okay. And thank you for enlightening me because
Mhm.
when you said rubber duck, I'm like, hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, is that like a hockey team or something? Like, no,
Mhm.
because in California they do have a hockey team called the Ducks.
Yep.
And so, okay, so rubber duck is a baseball. You love the sport. I can tell because when we were discussing baseball, your whole persona lit up. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I could even hear that little music, dun 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 dun, dun
Mhm.
and that's cool. Okay, and so you say when you were younger you played baseball yourself?
Yes. Yes. Football was the sport I was best at. Baseball has been my love of sports the whole time. Um, but as far as I made it was I tried out for a semi-pro team here in town after I got out of high school, but the, other lifestyle was already taken over. I couldn't
Okay.
see it at the time, but
Mm, okay. And so, since our program demands rigorous honesty,
mhm.
okay, how many home runs have you hit?
I never hit one.
Oh, okay.
Today I can say that I was a huge Pete Rose fan, so I used this stance. That's not a home run stance.
Okay. Again, I don't know. I'm learning, you're educating me. Okay. So you love baseball, haven't hit a home run, but you love the game.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you're engaging in the alcoholic beverages, did you go to baseball games as often, as much?
Yes, but not it eventually faded completely out of my life.
Mm,
As far as I mean, I might watch a game at the bar, but I was more interested in whatever.
mhm.
That was another huge moment in treatment, if you don't mind me saying.
I bet.
After a certain point, we got the permission to go out and recreate and stuff. And I stepped on a field, ratty ass field, barely two gloves between everybody. And I stepped on the field and it hit me like a sledgehammer. I had given everything to that stuff. And
Hmm,
I just started bringing down crying right there.
hmm.
That was
Wow.
that was very symbolic.
Huh, the love of the game.
Yep.
Okay. And now you're sober, you have a whole complete different experience.
Yes.
Not only do you get to be physically in the place, but you get to be emotionally involved.
Yes.
Okay. And so, when you're in the seats and you got, I don't know, I'm just gonna guess popcorn or hot dog or whatever, you
Mhm.
know, are you one of those fans that if somebody hits a run, you jump up and go all bananas and stuff?
I get very excited. I don't jump as well as I used to, but yes, I get very excited. It's again, there's what just happened, but it's to be there in person. It's just like, and I again in recent years started doing like I did as a teenager. Me and my buddies would drive up to the Indians because it's closer. I take a transistor radio with me now
Oh, wow.
and listen to the game while I'm there. And it's like, look at whoever's sitting next to me. This guy here had 3 hits yesterday. Whatever, just random stuff. That's become a part of it again too.
Nice. Enjoying life as it presents
Mhm.
itself.
Yes.
Man, that's good stuff.
I've had some great experiences with fellow sober people up there. That's one of the ways I really enjoy not telling new people they can have fun, but showing them. Get a
Mhm.
couple carloads and head up to Akron.
Mhm. Always like that, that one saying, "Our actions speak so loud people can't hear what we're saying," you know?
Yes.
And when you take a new guy to a ball game, how do you feel when you watch his excitement?
It's amazing. It's amazing. I was talking about that today, in a way. Just the genuine gratitude they would have that I let them sit in the car and ride up. It was a little humbling. It was a little, but I know that's the deal. That's what we're supposed to do. And um, yeah, it's great. I know
Okay.
even if they didn't go back to any more games, I run into some of these people, they still talk about it when we're
Hmm.
together. So
Nice, nice. Okay, and so do you have any signed memorabilia? Do you have any of your favorite stars signed baseballs and stuff?
I used to. I have I started out as a Reds fan, but when they started trading people, and then like I said, Cleveland was closer. We were getting our driver's license. I switched over to Indians/Guardian. But anyway, I
Mm,
got an autograph picture here of the big red machine, the starting lineup. I used to have more than that, but a lot of it's I sold off or whatever.
okay, okay. A fan to the end.
Uh-huh.
Love it. Okay, so let's cruise out the ballpark, get
Yep.
in our little golf cart or whatever that they
Mhm.
have, and let's step. One thing I admire about you, okay, and this has been filmed in California,
Mhm.
okay, so I'm gonna dip into, yeah, you know where I'm going with this, okay.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you can tell us, or I'm just gonna break the ice. You
Yeah.
do a little acting every now and again,
Mhm. Whenever
okay?
I can.
Yeah, tell us about that. What got you started into acting?
I was at the Y walking on the indoor track, and a good friend of mine, Chris Hahn, thank you, Chris, um, said, "Hey, come over here." I said, "What do you want?" He said, how would you like to be in a movie?" I said, "Sure." And in that moment, I swear my only motivation was have a little fun, and I would be able to look you in the eye and say I was in a movie once. Right. And then the second day on set, I got bit, as they say, just as cliche as you want to be. I got to see him actually move cameras and set up shots, and I said, "I'm going to try this." And so now that we know how to follow through with stuff,
Mhm.
I started looking for classes, and I've been training ever since. Almost 6 years now. It's been a hell of a ride. Hell of a ride. How do I highlight it? Um, my biggest highlight is I talked my mom into doing background a couple days in a
Oh,
movie
wow.
locally, so that's
Yeah.
number 1. I got to be in a movie with my mom. Um, I've been on set with Oscar winners doing background, watching people like Tom Hanks work. That's amazing. I've got to a point where I regularly, book independent films, you know? I'm anxiously awaiting for a recent horror film to come out. I played the sheriff. I've done a little theater. When I got a coach, the first thing he said was, "You will do theater," and I wanna do more. Uh, I just auditioned for a play surrounding, um, historical events, but also baseball. I auditioned to be Branch Rickey. So, anyway, that was cool. I didn't get it, but it was fun.
Okay.
Yep. It was all about laying the path to bring Jackie up. Um, just a lot of amazing experiences, like, surreal, like I was doing a short film, and I'm in bed dying, right? I don't have any lines. It's all about the family coming in to say, "So long," to grandpa, you know? And in between takes one time, I just opened my eyes and there was 2 cameras, a director, the sound person was in the closet, and it was like, "Son of a I'm actually making a movie. Is this surreal?" It's surreal. Other highlights, I booked 1 SAG film, they cut my lines, but they can't take the memories away. One time I've had the trailer and the hair and makeup and all that stuff. It was amazing. And I booked one very real nice commercial that not only was fun, it put me in a position to pay my house off, which was nice, about a
Nice.
year ago. It was United Airlines. I don't wanna get to bragging too much, but it's just amazing. Last Friday, I was got to go back to the 1600s and see Sir Walter Raleigh go to the chopping block. So, it's you just never know what's coming. I've got a
Well,
whole 'nother family there because I found an amazing studio. I told them 'em I'd plug it at least once. First Team Actor Studio, Cleveland, Ohio.
there you go.
Um,
You can plug him again. Who was that?
First Team Actor Studio, Cleveland, Ohio.
There you
Amazing group of people. We
Okay.
support each other to the end. Yep.
Okay, cool. It's it's remarkable how one time in your life, you're in the same room dying and desperate,
Mhm.
and now you're in the same room saying, "Hey, I I open my eyes and there's a sound guy in the closet, cameras all around me." And it's like, wow,
Mhm.
wow.
I've died 6 or 7 times so far in my
Are
career.
they
3 or 4 of them were really gruesome. So,
huh? In movies or in real life?
in movies.
Okay, okay, I was gonna say, okay. And so, do
Oh,
you
yeah. I didn't realize what I was saying. Yeah.
that's okay, that's alright, that's alright. I find it fascinating because again, when I went to California, I wasn't going for the Hollywood thing, I was going because I
Mm,
was addicted and somebody said, "Let's go."
mhm,
But, being around sets and people and all of this happened after I got sober. None of this was I couldn't do nothing when I was drinking and using. Absolutely nothing. But now and you've also illustrated now that you're of sound mind and body and sober and able to take advantages of the opportunity that's in front of you, you get to grow with those opportunities.
mhm.
And so that's cool. I'm ladies and gentlemen, I am interviewing a real life actor. Just saying, just putting it Tom Klein. Okay, Tom Klein.
Yes,
Okay.
with a C.
So with a C.
Um,
Do you give autographs, Tom? If it's one of my listeners see you out
I've
there,
been
can they
asked
get?
one time so far.
Okay, well, folks, get an autograph. You heard it here. Okay, just make sure when you say Tom Klein, make sure you go with a C. Okay, because
Mhm.
if you put a K out there, you might get ignored.
Yes,
Okay,
or
okay,
corrected. Nah.
and so.
Oh, it just reminded me of a cool fact that kinda demonstrates the tie-in a little bit. We
Mhm.
had that one promise, fear of people will leave us. I have been on big movie sets 2 times, standing there having a one-on-one conversation with Academy Award nominated directors,
Hmm.
and it was just like, "Fear of people will no longer exist. So, yeah, what are we gonna do?" You know? Just like talking to you. It's awesome.
And amazing, amazing. Who would have? Did you ever think that your life was going to evolve into what it is today?
No,
No.
never.
Okay. And it just reminds me, they say, "Don't quit before the miracle happens."
Yes.
You know, all of
The
that
clo
stuff.
the closest
Good.
I oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The closest I can even say is I knew I was approaching retirement. I was looking for something creative to keep my mind active. But wow, I didn't see this coming.
You didn't see this coming. Well, he- here it is. Okay. Well, folks, we have flown this jet as far as we can. We are arriving at our destinations. Please put your seatbelts on. We're about ready to land this craft. Tom, it's always a pleasure of talking to you.
Mhm.
For all these people, and I think expansive, because that's what my brain is. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you for an opportunity to be on the set or even just contact you, how do they get a hold of you? How can we get your resume out there if that's what you want?
Oh, shoot. I didn't think about that. I've got, you can find me on Actors Access. Shoot, I've got 4 agents. I don't know. It's too long to list all that. Uh,
Okay.
I will
Y-
oh, TommyJet14 Instagram. TommyJett 14. Thank you. Yep.
All
Anthony,
right.
I I'm sorry. I feel this is really important to say. All this
Go
cool
ahead.
stuff. A couple days ago, I'm driving home from somewhere, and I was being grateful, and my brain real loud said, "What's the best thing, the coolest thing that happened today?" And the answer loud and clear was, "I got to make my mom laugh."
Hmm.
I wanted to make sure to share that tonight.
Nice. Nice. Okay. You want to give a shout out to your mom if you want?
Absolutely. Barb
Go ahead.
Klein, love you. Best
All
mom ever.
all right. There you go. Best mom ever. Okay, folks, we're gonna wrap this up again. Thank you, Tom,
Mhm.
for coming to be my guest today. Always behind the scene, we got Solomon. And folks, always remember we care no matter where, because care is everywhere. And until next time, this is me, Anthony Brown, aka the Ghetto Practitioner, wishing you to have the best day of your life. And see you later.